Again, I'm afraid you can't see all of this slide, but at the top I've rather humorously said tomatoes or tomatoes. And I thought you might be interested in the spelling. It seems to me it's also worth noting that for many years now we've been in a very interesting Anglo-American exchange. I think I've used the term the Anglo-American lexicon of local economic initiatives or local economic policies. Some of us are fluent in this lexicon. There are people in the room who spend a lot of time in the UK. But you invented private industry councils. And then we decided to copy them, and we called them training and enterprise councils. And we added another twist to them and gave them responsibility for supporting and encouraging small businesses. Then you said, well, that's quite interesting, some of the things they've done there. We'll invent workforce investment boards, which sort of took a bit of lessons from our training and enterprise councils. And then we said, well, we can go one better. We'll turn ours into learning and skills councils. So there's a sense in which, this is just a paraphrase of a very lengthy set of conversations, there's a very active policy exchange going on, particularly on this issue of workforce and how it relates to economic development. But we need to remember as well that you invented the Urban Development Corporation, which we then copied, and actually our version is better than yours. But then we invented enterprise zones, and you then copied them, and your version is better than ours. So that's quite interesting. You established something called the Small Business Investment Corporations, and we reinvented them as regional venture capital funds. And then you invented community development financial institutions, and by that time we'd got bored of inventing new names. So we called them the same thing, and they're now up and running. Business improvement districts were invented in Canada. You borrowed them. There are 30,000 now in the USA, but we're about to get the first ones in the UK, and in London this is going to be very important. And there are many others, regional technology strategies, which Stuart's particularly involved with. We're involved in a very active and fertile exchange of policies and initiatives. At the best, this is underpinned by very significant dialogue between our countries. It's underpinned by learning and inspiration. It's underpinned by something that Sergio and Ray mentioned last night, which is learning from failure as well as from success. At the very worst, it's the simple borrowing of policies and laws and acts and trying to transplant them from one place to another. And it rarely works when it's done in that way. And my sort of metaphor for this is the organ transplant. The surgeon who takes an organ from one place and puts it in another knows that all of the work is done in preparing the host body for the new organ and then in helping it to adjust. And in some cases, we've had initiatives, and I think of some of the cruder aspects of the welfare to work agenda, for example, some of the more restrictive aspects of the urban policy program. We looked at the UDAG program, which you ran in the US successfully for many years, and we tried to copy it, but I don't think we did so well. So that's important. And the point I wanted to make last night was that whilst there's been a healthy transfer and exchange of ideas between the USA and the UK. Actually, the big agenda now is one about North America and Europe. It's not so much about our two nations, it's about our two continents, figuring out how to learn from each other, because the UK is learning just as much from our friends and our neighbours within the European Union as we're learning from our cousins across the Atlantic. And in this general field of workforce development and economic development, there is so much to learn, because I think all of us are embarked in a way in creating a profession that hasn't in fact existed before.